If you create a mobile web app and you have your app running on the iOS device, what you will find is that if you want to autofocus an input field, that actually does not work quite well, because Apple does not want you to be able to set the autofocus on an input field via JavaScript, but instead you have to have a user intent. So a user has to click first, otherwise it would not autofocus the input field and especially not show up the keyboard. Because in Apple's design philosophy, that would be annoying if you would browse the web and then always the keyboard would pop up even without you interacting with the website. And we will see in this video how we still can get what we want, so that we have an input field that is being set autofocus, but it has to involve user interaction. So I will show you the example that I was facing and how I resolved that. When I click the plus button, the input form opens and the first field is actually focused, so there's the blue border around it, but I have to click into the input field so that the keyboard is opening. When we instead look into the to-dos, where I used a different approach when I click the plus button, what you can see is the input field is focused, but also the keyboard is showing up immediately. And we will figure out in this video how we can achieve this. So how it worked was, in the first case, that I have the add button, which is essentially a link. And this add button opens up a new page. And then on this page, what we see is the form to basically update an item. And then within that form, which is a little bit more complicated, and then also the instant search field, this is the input field that should be autofocused, which did not work actually. And as you can see, inside the instant search field, there's just a plain input field, or it's a combo box input, but still the autofocus is set to true. And what we could see is that it kind of has a focus, but it's not opening the soft keyboard. And the other approach that I had is that I don't actually open up a new page, but instead the add button has a click handler. And this is essential because you still need this interaction, but it could be any interaction. It could also be just a tap wherever on the screen itself, but you need to have some kind of user interaction. And the important thing is that in the scope of this event handler, you have to set the focus of whatever input field you want to set. Obviously, this is the button that I clicked. But in the event handler of this click, this is the user intent that you need in order to set the focus. And what I have here is I have a ref, and this ref is a ref that I can pass around. So I use that ref and I pass this ref down to the upsert form, so to the form that I use to update or create the input, the to-do in the case of Kinvivo. So I pass this ref down, and then this focus ref is being used obviously for the input field. And this way I can, even if I have the click in another component, I can use the event of this click in order to focus the reference input field. And that does work. So there are scenarios like this where you can still have the keyboard shown up. And then obviously it is not a new page in this scenario, but it's just slide over so that I can pass around the reference and then also focus it. So that's it already, a quick video, but I think it might be useful to understand because it is a problem in the scenario that I have where you want to add an item and then obviously you want to instantly have the input field being focused. And you can do that if you understand how Apple intends those things to happen on mobile. You have to have a user intent, but within this event, you can try to figure out what you want to focus and then set the focus programmatically as well. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that and see you next time.